Greetings everyone, Brad here with Mild Mannered EDC. And today we're going to do a relatively short review of the Gerber Quadrant. That's right, the Gerber Quadrant. Interesting offering from Gerber. Certainly one that caught my eye. I think it's about a year or so old at this point. Not a lot of stuff out on it as far as I've seen, but it's an interesting knife. And, I think it took them a little longer in development than they thought. But here's what they've sort of come out with as the final product. So I thought we could just go ahead and do a review of what, kind of the details, the info, and give you a sense of what I like and what I don't like about it. It's got some things done really, really well. It's got some other things done not so well, and that's in some ways is kind of emblematic of the Gerber brand these days. But I have a soft spot for Gerber, as I've mentioned before, so you may see them on my channel from time to time, for better or worse. So let's do a quick spec offering on this. So we've got a 2.7-inch blade. We've got a 4-inch handle. I don't have weights on this, I'm sorry, and that's about the extent of the of the specs there. It does have a 7CR17 MOV blade steel. The scales, for the most part, are stainless steel with the exception of this particular bamboo inlay. Now, there is an option for a white G10, so you get that black and white sort of stormtrooper look, which I think is pretty cool. But there you go. So that's sort of what we've got here with this particular Gerber. Now, this is a Gerber manufactured in China. So, yeah, there you go. Not an American-made Gerber. And the price on this runs about $35, $30 to $35, depending on what you get. I think I paid like $32 off of Amazon several months ago when I picked this up. So, anyways, here we go. Let's talk about this. So let's talk about the blade. So the blade actually is done pretty darn well. Now, 7CR17. It's again, I think Pete over in Saturday calls these sort of the alphabet soup of blade steels, these that Gerber uses sometimes. And yeah, that's probably right. I mean, the 7CR17, good, bad, I don't know. I'm sure it's pretty equivalent to 8CR at some level, but, pretty standard budget type steel there. Here's what I will say for it. It is really sharp. It came very, very sharp. And in fact, I don't normally do cut tests in my videos, but I wanted to kind of show that off. Yeah, look at that. Nice clean cut. And I've actually done some stuff with this, so, and even that snag was my own fault. So it's really done clean. And in fact, my brother-in-law had said he wanted to see me doing more cutting up of fruit in my videos. So, Brian, this one's for you. Is it an apple splitter or an apple slicer? And by the way, is that not the coolest, smallest apple ever? Let's check this out. There you go. Nice clean slice. Can we actually get a little peel off there? So, my daughter's in the room with me at the moment. You want to eat this?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Here, take the rest of that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, so there we go. You saw a little family food prep there as well at the same time. So, so if I can get this apple juice off. So, where was I? Sheep's foot blade, cuts pretty well, darn sharp. Pretty impressed by that. I think Gerber did a really nice job with the blade on this. Pretty impressed. I like a good hollow grind. Not the thinnest of blade stocks, but it's all right. Maybe we should do a little quick size comparison just so you get a sense of how big or little this knife is. So there it is up against a Rat 1. Here it is against a standard Swiss Army knife. So it's just a hair bigger on either end than the Swiss Army knife, obviously smaller than the Rat 1. So it's a pretty reasonably sized knife. How about here's a Civivi Elementum, which pretty much I think lines up just about in the same, that same size range. So there you go. So blade done, the steel may not be the most ideal, but certainly done pretty well. Now, the action. Let's just talk about the action. So the action is my biggest gripe on this knife, unfortunately. So when it came, it had a very poor action. And by poor, I mean either the detent was not great or it was just tightened down too much. But I basically, you can kind of hear, it did that. It was maybe 6 out of 10 flips did that, which is kind of disappointing. Now, I took this apart. You can see where I've messed with the screws. Unfortunately, they are using not only free spinning screws all over, but also very soft screws. This is a T8 and these are T6s, by the way. So yeah, mangled the screws. And it wasn't a lot of money. So I thought, I'm just going to get this thing open and see if I can make it better. I sort of did. So it's gotten to the point where, a little bit of wrist action and it opens just about every time. Unfortunately, it did mess with the detent a bit, so now I could shake it out, and it also completely destroyed the centering. There you go. Yeah, not good on the centering front. And I took it apart multiple times and just could not get that fixed. The other thing, and I'll put a picture up of some of the disassembly they've got, it is riding on phosphor bronze washers, which is interesting. They are different sizes, which is very curious to me. I don't think I've ever seen that on a knife. So anyways, like I said, I think I just threw a picture up there for you during the editing process. So there you go. On the handle side, this knife, like I said, it's got this bamboo inlay. This is actually done pretty darn well. Now you can certainly see a little bit of a gap right there, but by and large, you don't really feel the transitions that much. There isn't a lip, there's no hot spots, there's no catches. It's done pretty darn well. And so I compliment them on that. For a $35 knife, that did a nice job. And frankly, just seeing bamboo in a knife like this is pretty darn interesting. And so I credit them for trying to do something a little different. I think that the white G10 one looks pretty cool. It's probably equally well done as far as fitment and stuff is concerned. So, I think they did a pretty nice job. And the overall kind of aesthetic that they've created, I think, is attractive. I like that the Gerber sits kind of right at the kind of, lines up kind of perfectly when it's closed. I think it's a pretty handsome looking knife overall. A little bit of a slab, but generally pretty thin. Let's compare it to a rat. Right? So there you go. So there you go. We've talked a little bit about the blade. We've talked about some action issues, some of the build, and that's where the handles and scales. Now, hardware, again, I mentioned the screws are really soft and strip almost immediately, unfortunately, and I wasn't using much torque at all. The pocket clip is a very well done pocket clip. It's got recessed screws, and again, it goes to show you this is sort of a weird mix of done really well, but also, some significant misses. But yeah, the pocket clip's pretty cool, and if I can get a little handkerchief here, I'll show you. I mean, it's very deep carry. It carried really easily in and out of the pocket. The clip actually, interestingly, if you kind of look at it here, at first I thought, oh shoot, it's sitting on the lock bar. That's going to be maybe why I'm having trouble with the flipper action, but it's not. If you see, it sort of sits right there in, I don't know how visible that is, but kind of sits right within the relief of the lock bar, and it comes down on the just regular part of the scale there. So, I don't know if that was intentional or just good luck on Gerber's part, but they did that right. And again, really well done from a clip standpoint and from a deep carry standpoint. So, what do I think of this knife overall? Well, overall, I think this is a well done knife for $35 if you can get past the action piece. And I may have just got a bum one as far as the action's concerned. I saw some reviews or some written things online, on like Amazon and some other places where people had made some comments where they said the action was good. Other people said it was a miss. They should have used a spring assist. I don't know. Like I said, I mean, with a little wrist flip, it's no big deal. Standard flip, and ergos, this is a bit of a pain with the ergos. That's not great how that flipper tab looks there. And it's even more so kind of a pain in the sense that it doesn't actually work very well as a flipper tab. So it's annoying that it's also kind of a bothersome ergonomic point. But other than that, it feels pretty good. I mean, it's essentially kind of a stick, right? So it's not like it's got, a lot of weird ergo stuff going on. So, oops, sorry, banged the table there. So yeah, so that's sort of where we're at with this knife. Like I said, I think it's kind of a typical Gerber, it feels like these days, where they've taken a cool concept, something that looks really good. I think they've created something that looks attractive. It's come really close to being a good knife and isn't quite there. It's an okay knife. And certainly for the money, it's okay. I do want to draw a quick comparison though. So this is the packaging that it came in. It's a blister pack. Or whatever you call these. I guess these are still traditionally called blister packs. I cut these. It's got some good info, all the normal things you'd want to see on a thing. But here's some packaging that another $35 knife came in. This is that Quickie that I've featured on this channel previously. It comes in this nice box with nice paperwork. There's a P841, by the way. Nice paperwork, a box specifically designed to hold this specific knife with no action problems there. So, I guess I only bring that up to say, this is another budget Chinese knife that feels better. I think this is a good knife, and this is an okay knife. And so, you know, if Gerber is going to make stuff in China, I don't know why they can't compete with, you know, the other stuff being made in China on the budget end. So there you go. That's kind of the long and short of this particular little knife. I think it's got great potential. I hope maybe they go back to the drawing board and make some fixes on this. You know, it's not by any means an unsafe. There's no blade play. You know, like I said, you know, if you fix some of those screws, deal with the action a little bit, I think you've got a real winner, Gerber. I really do, because I think this doesn't look like really anything else out on the market and is super interesting and really has the potential to be something that I'm like, hey, I want to carry this knife to, I could carry it because it looks cool, but I don't really want to use it because it's kind of not very fun to use. So that's where we are with this Gerber Quadrant. I hope you've enjoyed this review. I think my daughter Maddie wants to say bye.
Yeah.
You can say bye. You know, we're all at home these days.
Hello. I have the apple in my hand.
That's right. We've almost finished it. Oh, thank you. That's what they want to see is your half-eaten apple.
Yeah, it's all the way in.
Okay, very good. So with that, thanks everybody. Hope you found this interesting. Let me know if you've picked up the Quadrant and if you've had similar experiences or not, or just kind of feelings on Gerber in general or whatever. Stay safe out there. Be mild-mannered to each other, especially now. It's really important. Be patient with each other. And all the best.